Chapter 5 School Begins, 1931. Friedrich and I were allowed to sit on the same bench. Our teacher told us a story. Then we all sang Little Hans, and our first school day was over. Our parents waited for us outside the school gate. Father was out of work in any case, and Herr Schneider had taken the day off. Like all German children, after the first day of school, Friedrich and I received a large cone-shaped paper bag from our parents. Friedrich's was red, mine blue. My blue bag was a little smaller than Friedrich's red one. Friedrich opened his right away. He offered me one of his pieces of candy and broke a bar of chocolate so that everyone could have some. I was about to undo the bow on my paper bag when Mother shook her head. She took me aside and told me I should wait until we got home. I couldn't understand why, but I obeyed. At the next street corner, Herr Schneider asked loudly, "And where to now?" Smiling, he looked at us all. Everyone regarded Herr Schneider expectantly. Only Father shot a frightened glance at Mother. Friedrich answered the question. Jubilantly, he shouted, "To the amusement park!" Again, Father looked at Mother. This time his eyes were anxious. Mother told Herr Schneider, "What a pity we can't come with you. I have so much to do at home, and I haven't even prepared lunch yet." "But, Mother," I implored her, "I'd like so much to go to the amusement park." Father stroked my head. "We can't, my boy. Think of Mother." But Herr Schneider seized my mother's arm, and Frau Schneider linked her arm with Father's. "No excuses valid today," Herr Schneider explained. "On the first day of school, we are going to the amusement park." Father and Mother looked very downcast, but they went. Friedrich pushed 3 pieces of chocolate into my mouth at once, then we raced ahead of our parents, arm in arm, paper bags in our hands. At the amusement park, the fathers took our hands. My father edged unobtrusively toward Mother. "You must lend me 5 marks," I heard him whisper in her ear. "But I don't have any money with me," Mother whispered back. "Just 2 marks of my household money." Father groaned. Then he said, "Give me the 2 marks. I have another 70 pfennigs in my pocket." Mother burrowed in her pocket, supposedly looking for her handkerchief. She furtively pushed the 2 marks into my father's hand. Father looked unhappy. I was already sorry I had asked to go to the amusement park. The Schneiders marched ahead. We followed listlessly. We stopped at the merry-go-round. We watched it spin. Suddenly Friedrich pushed a ticket into my hand. When the carousel stopped, we handed the paper bags to our mothers and climbed onto the horses. Mine was called Bella. The saddle blanket on Friedrich's was inscribed Fox. It was wonderful to ride around and around again. We waved and bounced and shouted and urged our horses on until the merry-go-round stopped. Herr Schneider bought us new tickets so we could ride a second time. When the carousel again came to a stop, Herr Schneider and his wife, and Mother and Father as well, clambered up. They mounted the horses behind us, and we all rode together. Afterward, Frau Schneider brought each of us an enormous stick of cotton candy. While we ate the cotton candy, Father, with a desperate face, kept counting his money in front of each stand we passed. He was trying to see if he had enough to buy something for everyone. "What shall I do?" he asked in a whisper. Mother shrugged her shoulders hopelessly. Herr Schneider treated everyone to a long knockwurst with mustard and a roll. In his distress, Father could hardly get it down. I knew Mother loved knockwurst at fairs, but I could see she wasn't enjoying this one because she was worrying. Suddenly, Father disappeared. He came back carrying 6 sticks of licorice. Frau Schneider was so delighted she seemed never to have anything so beautiful. Soon everyone was sucking on a licorice stick. Father heaved a sigh of relief. We children were allowed to go on the fire engine ride. Then we watched our parents, Herr Schneider with my mother, Father, with Frau Schneider, on the swing boats. Friedrich yawned. I, too, was tired. "Enough for today," said Herr Schneider. "Come on. Home." At the far end of the amusement park, Father finally hit the right booth. Remembrance photos. 1 postcard, 1 mark. 2 postcards, 1 mark, 50 pfennigs. The sign read. At once Father made for the owner. "Take a picture of us," he said. "We'll take 2 postcards." The owner of the booth bowed. Step closer, ladies and gentlemen," he murmured. "Step closer, please." Inside, a mountain scene had been painted on the back wall. Before it stood a piebald wooden horse. "Please have a seat." said the man. Where? Asked Father. On the horse, said the man. But two at most will fit on that, Father said. Just a moment, said the man. He gripped the horse's tail as if he wanted to tear it out. Then he put the tail over his shoulder and pulled it hard. Slowly, the wooden horse stretched, grew longer and longer, so long that 10 grown-ups would have found room on it comfortably. When Herr Schneider saw its stretched-out horse, he couldn't stop laughing. I had never seen him laugh so hard. His wife had to hold on to him so he wouldn't fall over. My father proudly mounted the endless horse. The owner of the booth brought a footbench and helped the woman up. Last of all, he hoisted up the children. When Herr Schneider climbed on, he nearly fell off the other side. He still shook so with laughter. Finally, we were all squatting, one behind the other, on the wooden horse. Our mothers held us tightly, otherwise we would surely have slid off from sheer fatigue. Only Father propped a hand on his hip. Proudly, he rode in the middle, head held high. And Herr Schneider laughed. He laughed so hard at the accordion horse that he infected all of us. Even Father smiled, if only a little. The owner disappeared behind the black cloth of his camera, only his hands poked out from it. He gave instructions no one understood. At last he changed the ground glass screen for the photographic plate, stood beside the camera, growled, "Attention!" and pressed down the red rubber ball. Holding ourselves motionless, we stifled our laughter and stared into the camera until the man said, "Thank you." He disappeared into the dark room with the plate, and we hopped down from the horse. At once, Herr Schneider began to pull the horse's tail, and behold, it stretched still further. Herr Schneider lengthened the horse until it reached the side wall of the booth. When we regarded it in all its length against the mountain scene, even Father had to laugh out loud. When the booth owner brought us 2 postcards, and Father generously paid him from his jacket pocket. With a bow, he handed 1 postcard to Frau Schneider. I sat in front. The wooden horse carried my paper bag between its ears. Beside me rode Mother. She pulled a face as if she had a frog in her mouth that mustn't hop out. Father lorded it in the center. Everyone who saw the picture had to assume that the horse belonged to him. Friedrich held on to Father's jacket. His paper bag towered above all the mountain tops and seemed to help support the clouds. Little Frau Schneider had grabbed a hold of Friedrich's collar. She really looked very dear. Herr Schneider embraced her laughingly from behind. On the way home, everyone was still happy, thinking about the remembrance pictures. Only Father felt ashamed because he had taken himself so seriously on the wooden horse. When we reached home, I stumbled exhaustedly into the hall. I quickly threw the new satchel into the corner and untied the bow on my paper bag. It contained nothing but a bag of sugared rusks and lots of crumpled paper. Mother stroked my hair. "But you know, my boy," she said, "that we are poor." Father washed his hand and asked, "What's for lunch today?" Mother sighed. "Nothing," she replied. "We spent the lunch money at the amusement park."